Hi, it's me, Julie, your traveling trivet and pampered chef consultant, and it's time for another tag of friends. They did an upgrade. It's time for another Throwback Thursday recipe of the week. Last week, when we talked about Shunky Flecky, and I was looking through Grandma's book, on the very next page was strudels. Oh my God, strudels. My grandma made the best strudels. I used to love to go to her house and she'd have strudels made. She had, what were her flavors? She did a poppy seed strudel, which I liked. And see, poppy seed filling. This is actually from my grandmother's house. When my dad gave me the book, he gave me the poppy seeds. Now, it's a little scary because the address is Frank Cornick and Company, Cicero, Illinois, Illinois. And they moved from Cicero, it says Bohemian made. They moved from Cicero when my dad was a kid. But I looked up, so it has no expiration date. It's a little puffy on the ends. I get a little nervous storing this that it might someday have a nuclear meltdown, but it is so cool that it was my grandma's. And the way the address is made, they started using the 2-digit states in 1963. Yeah, I cheated. I wrote it down. So this is really old, and it's likely from the late 40s, early 50s. But anyway, so this is Grandma's poppy seed filling. And another flavor of strudel she used to make, it kind of was like a baklava. It had that nut. Oh my God, it was so good. And I could not find a recipe for that. So as I was looking through Grandma's book for a strudel recipe, I grabbed the very first one because it really talks about stretching the strudel. And anybody who knows or knew my grandma would know that she used to curse in check whenever she would rip her strudel. She would lay it out on her table and she would pull it paper thin and it would get a hole. She had to start all over. And everybody in the family knew when Grandma was stretching strudel just to get out of her way. Another thing in this recipe is when it goes on, and a lot of these recipes do this, but this one especially, it tells about cooking it. And it says it just gives you bake slowly for 1 hour. It doesn't give a temp. Well, back in the day before they invented the thermostat, around the 1920s or so, they used to use wood stoves, and the draw of the fire determined the speed of the oven. And we all know those wood stoves I'm talking about. Those really cool ones that you see in an antique store and probably cost 20 times what they cost in the day. Anyway, so a very slow oven is around 200 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. A slow oven is 250 to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. A moderate oven is 350 to 400. A quick or hot oven is 400 to 450. And a very hot oven is 450 to 500. And I'll put that on my website. But I thought that was an interesting little tidbit of information. So for the strudel, I'm going to read the recipe here. And I'm going to laugh because when they talk about stretching strudel, it just makes me smile. Thinking about Grandma stretching her strudel. It says, melt a piece of butter the size of a large walnut in a cup of lukewarm water. Beat in 1 egg, 1/4 cup of sugar, and a pinch of salt. Sift a quart of flour on a breadboard. Make a well in the center. Pour onto it the foregoing. And knead the dough. I got to get a little closer to the light. And knead the dough. Knead the dough thoroughly, beating it with the rolling pin. Now, if she had that Pampered Chef rolling pin made out of marble, she might have broke her table. Ooh. Anyway, cover with a hot bowl and let it stand for 1 hour. Cover with a hot bowl thought that said towel, but it says bowl. Cover with a hot bowl and let stand for an hour. She must turn up a bowl upside down after she gets it hot. In the meantime, peel and slice thin 8 apples. Pick over and clean half a pound of raisins and fry breadcrumbs in butter. Now spread a white cloth on the table. I remember these white cloths that Grandma used to spread. Dust it thickly with flour and stretch the dough over it until it is almost transparent. It must not tear or break. Yep, it must not tear or break. Boy, Grandma made some awesome strudel, though. Two can do this much better than one. I don't remember Grandma getting help. I think she used to do it by herself. Then sprinkle with breadcrumbs. Then cover with the apples. Sprinkle with raisins or currants. Sugar, cinnamon, melted butter over the dough. Lift the cloth at one side and thus roll the strudel up like a jelly roll. Butter a baking pan. Turn the strudel into it carefully. Rub it over with butter and bake slowly 1 hour. Rub with butter after it begins to bake and when it's half done. Pour over it a cup of milk or cream. Oh, wait. Rub with butter after it begins to bake, and when it is half done, pour over it a cup of milk or cream. Punctuation is overrated. When done, cut in slices. Dust each thickly with powdered sugar and serve. Oh my God, I can smell it. Grandma used to make the best strudel. Anyway, that is apple strudel. Tell me about a dish that your grandmother made that you can close your eyes and smell the kitchen, or your mom, or someone in your family that was a good baker and baked these lovely, lovely desserts. And tell me below, do you think it's good, bad, or ugly? If you think it's good, say, yeah, let's bake up a thing of strudel. If it's bad, I'm not talking to you anymore. But it's bad. Or if you think it's ugly and it needs to go back to Grandma's house, I'm going to go with it because her strudel was the best. This is the good. The bad and the ugly are irrelevant in this story. Anyway, and as usual, I like to find a Pampered Chef product that would have made Grandma's life easier, or the ever who was cooking this vintage recipe. And this is our gadget. You put apples on this. I have a little video somewhere I'll have to show you. You put an apple on the end here. You attach it to a table, or you can buy, and I highly recommend if you get this, because it makes it a lot easier. It's a little stand for it. You put your apple on the end here. You pull it out. Let's see if I can pull it out. Whoops, dropping everything. You stab your apple, and then you just turn it like this. It peels and cores it and slices it at the same time. I'm not a lefty, so this shows you how easy it is. I can even do it left-handed. If I was coordinated better, I could go a little faster. And just keep going until it gets past where it slices it all. Pull it off. And look at that. Grandma would have had all 8 of those apples peeled, cored, and sliced thin in no time at all. I know she would have loved this. In fact, I'm kind of betting she probably had something like this, because this actual concept is not a new thing. Anyway, I look forward to your comments, and I will see you next week for another episode of Throwback Thursday, and I'm going to be in Spokane. So I'm going to do one from on the road. And I looked up some Spokane food, so I have a nice little dish that I already have prepared to read for you. Anyway, have a great weekend. I'll see you next week.